Episode of what's in the box. Got a couple of orders. We'll start with this one. We'll see what's in the box. Alright. What I usually do is I explain what I'm about to open as I'm leading up to it, so you know what we got. Well, this, we're having some issues out of my son's IS300. The clutch pedal feels real spongy, and we've been through 2 or 3 clutch sets, and it's never really seemed to make any difference on those. Well, we've upgraded everything on the clutch system now, minus a couple of things. So, we gave old Chesserenterprises a call. And so we got the new clutch line from Chesserenterprises. I guess it's not steel braided. I think it's actually steel braided inside. It's just wrapped. So we got us a new hardened clutch line instead of the soft rubber one from Chesserenterprises. And we went ahead and got the Willwood Chesserenterprises clutch master cylinder with the optional reservoir on it and the adapter for that. So this was the last piece of that puzzle. We may go ahead. We have changed the slave cylinder before. We may go ahead and put a new one on it while we're doing this, so that way it's all new end to end. But we do have a new slave cylinder on it. With that being said, there's no reason to not just warranty it out, get a new one, and then we know everything end to end is brand new. So that was the last piece of that puzzle to that clutch set, and hopefully this will remedy, because it's going to be, what the deal is, I'm not sure what the factory size slave cylinder or master cylinder is in the diameter inside here that pushes the fluid, but I know this is 3/4. Okay, so on the 3/4 one, I know having the bigger diameter is going to allow more fluid to travel, so that will actually, every time we've changed one of them, it makes the pedal feel harder. Even the handbrake, we went to the Willwood with the handbrake, and the experience we had was, instead of having to pull way down here on the cheaper master cylinders, we end up just, this little bit of travel, and it locks the back tires up solid. So there's, less travel, the more volume, the more fluid you have, the less you have to pull it way back here somewhere to get it to actually function. So like I say, we went to the Willwood, we're getting this, and it locks up the back wheels when we're drifting. So we opted to go ahead and go with that. I'm pretty sure this is the exact same master cylinder as the one we use on our drift car. It appears to be the exact same one, but this is the Chesserenterprises, the Willwood with the Chesserenterprises adapter and the Chesserenterprises reservoir. So that's what we're working with, and the line. So that was one we had to have. That's an upgrade for the IS300. Came with a couple of stickers, Chesserenterprises stickers. Everybody loves stickers. And another package from Wiring Specialties. Since I found Wiring Specialties, I have spent some money. And again, thank you, Wiring Specialties, for the discounts, the quality parts, the communication has been extremely a majority of this experience has been, you know, where they have communicated everything. They called me on everything to confirm. I didn't know some things I wanted. They helped me sift through some of the options I had. These guys are much more knowledgeable than my little pea brain will allow me to comprehend sometimes. And so some of the conversations I've had with them, you know, they'll call and be like, hey, do you want this or this? And I'm like, are you asking me or telling me? Because I don't know what, you know, I don't really know how any of that applies. So they explained a lot to me. They helped. Those guys have went above and beyond to simplify everything that I'm doing. They have really went beyond their call of duty to help me with some of this stuff. And if you're just an average Joe like me, and you do the best you can with what you got, you know, these guys are super helpful. If you're not really sure what you want, call them. These guys have never, my thing is I hate when I've got money in my pocket and I'm looking for parts, or even if I'm not ready to buy and I'm just trying to figure things out, I don't want somebody to act like I'm bothering them when I call, when I inquire on your services or your products. Don't make me feel like I'm bothering you by calling your establishment or stopping by your shop or looking for a place to do anything for me. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm bothering somebody that I'm willing to bring my car to, or you know, or refer one of my friends to. You know, when I come to somewhere, I want them to make me feel like, you know, hey man, what can we do for you? You know, how can we help? Somebody that's willing to explain things to me. Again, you know, I'm not up to speed on a lot of the electronics and stuff. I'm just not. I'm gonna have to have help when it comes time to install this stuff. I may have to call them and have them explain some things to me, but they seem to have no issues with any of that. So far so good on that type of thing. I have nothing but positive feedback for the guys at Wiring Specialties. I can't say they did good, but they didn't do this, or they did this, but I'm not happy with. I mentioned some discounts because I'd spend, you know, a little extra money, or more than your average Joe I imagine would, and they even gave me my own code to anytime I order something to get a deal, you know. So yeah. What this harness is. This is one I made a decision finally because I sold the KA motor in the 240. So when I sold the KA motor in the 240, I decided I'm going to go ahead and put a 2J in it, a VVTi, and I would just put the W58 that came with this IS300, instead of putting the AR5 back in it, I'll just put a stock 2J, no turbo or anything, and I'll just put a stock like IS300 transmission in W58 or 55, whichever one this is, I don't even really know. I would just put a stock one in it with a stock 2J and go drifting with the 2J swap 240, no boost or anything, no nitrous, no anything. And well, instead of having to do all the crazy wiring stuff, called up the old guys at Wiring Specialties. Hey, can you guys make me this harness? And here's the harness. So I'm going to go ahead and pull at some point, pull the 1J out of the black 240. I'll probably do a little more. I'll change some seals and all that stuff and spend a little more time and effort on that motor, and just grab the last 2J we got set in here and actually set it into the, well, it's not the last 2J, it's the last VVTi one I have, and set that into the S14, and this is the harness. So I'll just take a stock 2J VVTi ECU, plugs in. I think somewhere it adapts from the 2J plug to the 240, and again, Wiring Specialties came through, and we get some of this stuff moved out. I'll get the 240, the S14 back, and we will proceed with putting the 2J VVTi in it, which I may have to come up with an ECU. I got to looking around, and I don't know that I have a non-immobilized 2JZ GE ECU laying around. Not in the VVTi. I know I got one in the non-VVTi, but I don't have one for a VVTi. I may have one laying in the S14, but I don't remember. I gotta check it out. But that's the next step on the evolution of the 240. The S14 will be just a stock 2JZ GE VVTi, and just a toy, or maybe sell it. I may sell it and just, you know, move the finances over to another project or something. I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do. If the Silver IS300 stays together, then I can justify selling the S14. If I still have any issues out of the IS300, I may hang on to it just to have a drift car that should be fairly dependable for the most part. I may have to I may run into a drive shaft issue. I'll have to address that when I get there, once I start changing everything out. It worked in the AR5, I just had to change the yoke. I don't know if I have to change the yoke back. I don't know if that 1310 yoke is the correct one. I'll have to do some figuring on that, but I may have to get a drive shaft. Besides that, I think I have everything else to put that 2J in that 240. I have the mounts. I'll just run those mounts that we got. All that should work pretty straightforward. But yeah, this is another great product from Wiring Specialties. I've definitely spent my share of money at these guys' shop, so thank you, Wiring Specialties, for everything. And if we get the S13, if it looks good enough and we can get it on the track, we may talk to them about maybe some sponsorship stuff, maybe even Chesserenterprises. We may push with those guys and see if we can't get at least maybe a better discount rate, or push a little more in, you know, in some savings, and pass that on to, you know, other folks, because they've been extremely good to us, both those shops, Chesserenterprises, Wiring Specialties. Anytime we order Chesserenterprises, it's on its way, and there's no delay, there's no issues. We didn't have this or that. Maybe I've just been fortunate and didn't order something that was on back order or something. But Wiring Specialties, when you get them, it might take a little bit to get that harness, because some of these they have to make to order. Some of the stock stuff, they may have to change some connections, but they do have some off-the-shelf stuff. And as long as your application is exactly as they have sitting there, there should be a pretty quick shipping time. But again, custom harnesses, it's going to take a little bit to make them, but they do keep you in the loop. I mean, you get emails, you get notifications, you can log into their account, and it tells you if it's in queue, if it's actually being made, processed, or if it's shipping, you know, and when it's going to ship, kind of thing. So it's very informative while you're waiting on your harness. Waiting is the nature of the beast when it's custom harnesses. This one wasn't as bad as like the PMU 16 and all that stuff. And Chesserenterprises is just point and click, and a couple days you're looking at it. So it's been extremely well with that. But I haven't got any harnesses from them. This is usually just off-the-shelf stuff I get from Chesserenterprises. But again, both companies, extremely good companies, but both of them are extremely reputable companies, so you wouldn't expect any less. But yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. If you have considered buying any Wiring Specialties stuff, yeah, they ain't the cheapest in the world now, but I can't say that they're not the best either though, you know what I mean? Everything's labeled, every plug is labeled, everything looks, I mean, it's absolutely sealed. I think everything would be watertight. I don't want to guarantee it, because, you know, this is their product, not mine. But I would imagine it might be water resistant, maybe not waterproof, but I mean, everything's heat shielded, everything's wrapped perfect. Everything's plugged correctly. Everything looks amazing on these harnesses, man. They just look great. So yeah, Wiring Specialties, 2 thumbs up. Chase Bays, 2 thumbs up. So yeah, I'll stop rambling now. I'm blown away by the quality, and I'm getting more excited to work on some of these cars. And I tend to ramble. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're gonna get moving on. We're gonna start on some other projects. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate the likes, the subscribes. Hit the bell, that's notifications that we've posted another video. And we appreciate the feedback. I've been getting some feedback, some guys asking some questions. I'll do my best to help. I may have to make some phone calls, and I'm willing to make some phone calls to help assist and answer some questions if you have them. If I don't know, I'll try to help you work through it. Maybe some ideas. But I'm a shade tree mechanic kind of guy too, so don't set your watch on what I say. You can go back through some of my videos, and there's people called me on a few things. I'm not perfect. I've not had any formal training. This is me doing the best I can with what I got to work with my little pea brain and whatever I can come up with to make happen. Just bear with me. But thanks everybody for everything. All right, here we go.
I'm feeling high. I'm feeling high. I'm feeling high. I'm feeling